Your tax affair is a distraction for the party, Mr Zahawi.
He had nothing to add this morning, but Nadhim Zahawi, the man in charge of raising money for the Conservatives, does have questions to answer. That was the view of the PM, who is today visiting a hospital in Northampton. He's asked his independent ethics advisor to look into Mr Zahawi's tax affairs.
Integrity and accountability is really important to me, but it's also important that we do these things properly, and that's why the independent advisor has been asked to fully investigate this matter and provide advice to me on Nadhim Zahawi's compliance with the ministerial code. And on the basis of that, we'll decide on the appropriate next steps. But Nadhim Zahawi has agreed to fully cooperate with that investigation.
Did you try to avoid paying taxes, sir?
Mr Zahawi has been facing calls to resign after it emerged he paid a penalty to HMRC over unpaid tax when he was Chancellor. The actual amount is not known. Over the weekend, he said his tax error was found to be, quote, careless, not deliberate. Today, responding to the new ethics investigation, he said, "I'm confident I acted properly throughout and look forward to answering any and all specific questions in a formal setting." One former senior tax inspector says there's much for the ethics investigator to ascertain.
I don't think that we have got the full story by any stretch of imagination. There are just too many unanswered questions from the statement that he made, not least, how he resolved it with HMRC in such a short period of time.
This government will have integrity, professionalism and accountability at every level.
This was his vow when he became PM 3 months ago this week. The Labour leader says Mr Sunak has failed already.
The Prime Minister needs to show some leadership. This is a test of the Prime Minister. He promised us, his first words, integrity and accountability. Well, if those words mean anything, the Prime Minister should sack him and sack him today and show some leadership. Because if he doesn't, it's just going to be further evidence, I think, for the British public as to just how weak this Prime Minister really is.
Hi.
Mr Sunak has paid a penalty too, not from HMRC, but Lancashire Police. A fixed penalty notice was issued after he appeared in this video without a seatbelt.
Yes, I regret not wearing a seatbelt. It was a mistake, and that's why I apologised straight away.
On a day when the PM was hoping the NHS would be front and centre, he is instead dealing with the fallout from party problems.
Well, let's pick up with Julian live from Westminster. Julian, good to talk to you on the programme tonight. There's been a development, hasn't there, with Richard Sharp, who, of course, was the chairman of the BBC. What do we know?
Hi, Dan. Richard Sharp, with the greatest of respect to him, is probably someone most people don't know who he is. But this is about an alleged interaction he had with someone who everybody knows, that is Boris Johnson. So it's been reported Mr Sharp helped Mr Johnson secure a loan when he was still PM back in late 2020. Mr Sharp was announced as the government's choice to be BBC chairman in January 2021. Now, the process of how he got that job is now going to be looked at by the Commissioner for Public Appointments. And Mr Sharp has today emailed BBC staff saying he felt he got the job on his own merits. He's also said that he only connected people and he had nothing to do to arrange financing. This was clearly a time before Rishi Sunak was Prime Minister, but it could still be embarrassing for him. The suggestion of cronyism here, possibly, plus this flashback to Boris Johnson's administration, perhaps detracts from the professionalism and the integrity that Mr Sunak is trying to project.